Those of you who watched my recent video from Brampton might recognise the unusual and rather unattractive style of the waiting room on the platform here. No, we're not at Brampton, but we're not far away. We're in the north of England, on the early railway line dating from 1837, which links Carlisle in the west with Newcastle upon Tyne in the east, following the course of Hadrian's Wall, rather earlier, dating from 122 AD. It's a glorious day, so I'm going to have a look at another of those little stations that I've often sped through, but never visited. The Ordnance Survey map shows a tiny little community. I doubt there'll be much to see, so get off one train and join the next an hour later. It's a colourful station, well maintained with lots of flowers. Plenty of information for the visitor, and the signal box very much in evidence, although sadly the semaphore signals have yielded to modernisation. The day got off to an unfortunate start when I discovered that the cable release for my camera had become detached and has presumably continued with my train to Middlesbrough. The camera's video record button is ridiculously difficult to use, and I missed several shots. A new cable is an immediate priority. Unlike Brampton, Bardon Mill village is only 100 yards or so from the station. The Roman fort of Vindolanda is just a mile walk. The village shop has a tea room, which on this beautiful day was doing a great trade both indoors and al fresco. Since I was planning to catch the next eastbound train, I decided to give it a miss. This late Victorian Ordnance Survey map shows both a corn mill and a woolen mill, as well as two pubs in the village. On the site of the old woolen mill, a pottery was established in 1878. It's currently the only establishment in the United Kingdom licensed to produce salt glaze pottery. The glazed flower tubs on the station platform were all made here. The technology of a bygone age. Only one licensed hostelry remains in the village, the Bowes Hotel. The name is derived from the nearby Bowes-Lyons family, a name very familiar to those of us of a certain age. I didn't visit the hotel as I intended to catch the next train to the east, and I hope to fly the drone at my next port of call. There's no footbridge at Bardon Mill Station. If you want to reach the opposite platform, you must walk some distance beside the track and then cross using an unmanned level crossing. A red light warns of an approaching train. Half of all trains don't stop here, so we'll be travelling at 60 miles per hour or more. My train approaches. It's all stations to Hexham, then a limited stop service as far as Newcastle, before continuing via the Durham coast to Middlesbrough. However, I'm only travelling to the next stop, 5 minutes away. Haydon Bridge, a venue I'm quite familiar with, having filmed here on several occasions. The station house, now in private ownership, would originally have been the station master's home, in the days when the station master was a dignity of considerable standing in the local community. Although, sadly, the old level crossing gates have been replaced with modern barriers, Haydon Bridge remains in other respects a very traditional spot. The signal box dominates the old A69 Carlisle to Newcastle road, now replaced by a bypass to the south of the village and the River Tyne. And guess what? Just before the train arrived, my battery died. The Sony camera gives no advance warning of approaching doom. However, with 4 passenger trains every hour, we shan't have long to wait. Must be a bit of a pain in the neck for the local motorists. Just down the street towards the river. No, I didn't call in, though I have done in the past. The old bridge over the River South Tyne. I had planned for some aerial footage of this attractive scene, but the gods were not with me. Apart from that very audible wind, it actually started to rain. Not heavily, but enough to be dangerous for the drone. Yes, Bonnie Bobby of that ilk. And who's this? Major General Sir Henry Havelock, KCB. A British general particularly associated with India and his recapture of Cawnpore during the Indian Rebellion of 1857. He died shortly afterwards. 3 real ale pubs and a traditional railway scene. I think I could live here. However, if I'm to get home by bus tonight, I'm going to have to head back to the station. I've never heard of passenger services terminating here, but a crossover is provided, along with ground signals, just in case. And so, for a comfortable ride back to Carlisle. This line has countless foot crossings and farm crossings, each requiring a warning blast from the driver. Travel in the front coach can be noisy. The spectacular viaduct carrying the railway 100 feet above the River Eden. The approach to Carlisle, showing the sad remains of the once extensive yards and sidings which covered so much of the border city, one of the great railway centres. The extraordinary single-track approach to the Citadel, serving regular passenger services along the Tyne Valley and Setland-Carlisle routes, as well as freight trains, engineers' trains and charters. Whoever decided that this would be a good idea? No, that's not double track. That's just the shunt neck. Now my plan is a quick pint in the Scott and Brassy, Lancaster Brewery's excellent bar on platform 4, before catching the 1608 to Dumfries, which arrives in time for me to get a bus home. Arriving into the station, who should I bump into but Catherine from the signal box at Armathwaite. We retreat into the bar, the conversation flows, and so does the ale. I miss the next 2 trains and end up needing an expensive taxi home. Was it worth it? Of course it was. Not everything went according to plan. When does it ever? But a good day. Thank you for joining me, and here's to the next time.